Get ready for the Magic Valley Prepcast on IdahoSports.com.
That's right. Welcome in. It is the season 4 finale of the Magic Valley Prepcast on IdahoSports.com, coming to you live on a Friday, 5 p.m. Hey, you're probably just getting off work. Maybe you're stuck in that Twin Falls traffic. I don't even know if Twin Falls has that bad of traffic, but maybe you're stuck in the Twin traffic. Wherever you're at, thanks for being with us on IdahoSports.com's YouTube channel, Facebook page, and X account, coming to you live. You can, of course, watch this episode on replay anytime at those 3 destinations, and you can also listen to the Magic Valley Prepcast audio only on IdahoSports.com, along with wherever you download and subscribe to your podcasts. My name is Brandon Baney. Let's bring on our jukebox hero, our Magic Valley expert. It is Scott Burton. What's up, Scotty?
Yo, Brandon. Just getting ready for summer. Doesn't seem like much. Doesn't seem like summer yet when you're still going to the office. But yeah, it's summer. It's like almost 100 degrees right now.
Yeah, we are definitely in summer mode. You've got your T-shirt on. I've got my baseball jersey on. Not that it's going to help the Boston Red Sox, try and avoid a 6-game losing streak tonight. But
yeah, yeah, it's up time to be a Red Sox fan right now. But that's baseball. I'm a Dodger guy, and when we got beat up by the Angels, man, that was a rough weekend. My brother's an Angels fan, so there were some problems.
Yeah, for one weekend, the Angels returned to the outfield to give the team an assist against the Dodgers. Yes, thank you.
Well played.
So for those that are watching this, Scott, you have a wall of record album covers behind you. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, we've spent the last few months kind of redoing the house a little bit, trying to turn, add some personality to it. One of the things that we wanted to do is make the office a little bit more theme oriented. So both into music, and I was a record collector back in the day, still have like a ton of them. And we're like, let's just put all these albums on the wall. And they range from, the 80s to the 70s to the 50s, and they're all just kind of the albums that maybe shaped as a kid or listened to as a kid, or my parents had, or whatever. But it's the entire wall. And we still have a whole bunch that we didn't hang up. So we might be swapping them in and out, but kind of gives a little personality to the music room. And on the edge of my desk, I've got that little number. And and the coasters on the desk are all records. So yeah, and we got an actual vinyl record player over there on that shelf, and we're not done with it yet, but that's the start right there.
Yeah, looks pretty good, and a wide variety of music just in the album covers that I can see. I see really old school like Neil Diamond. You got some classic rock with like CCR, Creedence Clearwater Revival, The Police, and then you got some country, both older Johnny Cash and more contemporary Alabama. So
yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. And my parents have got some. I got a Captain and Tennille down here.
Oh, wow.
Because that was in my parents' collection. And so a couple of things that came from them, like the Righteous Brothers. I've got Rod Stewart up there, Joan Jett, obviously some U2, Zeppelin, The Police, Guns N' Roses, Motley Crue, you name it. I've got it up there. I love it. Little Tom Jones down in the corner.
Tom Jones, that's a real old school. And then, you got Cyndi Lauper right behind you there too.
Yeah, how can you not be a kid of the 80s and not have some true color shining through? You know what I'm saying?
That 80s pop for sure. Hey, here's Nick 3 in the house. Love the collection, Scott. All right.
Yeah. Oh, it's sweet. Once we get this room done, I'll give you a tour of one of the podcasts. You may notice I'm looking kind of off a little bit. Here's my camera, but my screen is here. So if I look like I'm like out to lunch, well, usually I am, but there's a reason for that. I'll try to look here as much as I can. But if I want to see you, Brandon, I have to go like this.
I do the same thing every show, so I'm sure people are used to it. I'm always looking off on my tabs, my 50 tabs I have open. Okay, so here we are. This is the season 4 finale, Scott, which means we are covering everything that happened in that spring sports championship overload: baseball, softball, golf, tennis, track and field. It is going to be, to quote, do you have a Grateful Dead album behind you?
You know what? I don't have a Dead album. I don't.
Okay. Well,
I don't. I've got one in the collection, but I don't have it on the wall.
Okay, I was going to say what a long, strange trip it's been, but
Yes.
We'll have to pivot since you don't have a Grateful Dead album. I will say, Scott, we always say on this episode of the show, because there's so much information and it's so dense, we're just playing the hits. Okay, we're not going to go too deep into any type of analysis. We're just kind of going to give a shout out to all of our Magic Valley individual, team champions, and high-ranking placers.
Absolutely. Not too many B-sides on this episode.
Yeah, no B-sides, that's for sure. So, Scott, I am going to let you pick where we go. You've got the 5 spring sports. Where would you like to start?
Let's start with track.
Okay, track and field. And we'll just work from 5A down to the smallest classification. So, at the 5A state track and field meet hosted at Mountain View High School a couple of weekends ago, here are the team scores. Your highest placing team from the Magic Valley, Scott, came on the boys' side from Wood River. How about the Wolverines finishing 4th, only 9 points away from a top 3 finish?
Yeah, that was surprising. They had a really loaded team this year on the boys' side, but to do that well, at the state tournament is, man, that's huge. And as you get into some of these scores, you'll see where they got their points. But good for Wood River. You don't hear that much from them when it comes to track. But man, what a year for them.
Yeah, so Wood River takes 4th on the boys' side with 45 points. The Twin Falls girls actually had the higher point total, 49 total points, but in a more diverse girls field, that was only good for a 6th place finish there. Your individual champions were Bishop Kelly on the boys' side. No surprise there. Moscow on the girls' side. And Scott, in doing my research, all of the point scores for Moscow, all underclassmen. So could be a repeat next year.
Yeah. It's so many great underclassmen sprinkled in these spring sports. I mean, we talked about it in some of our other episodes when we were talking about the baseball and softball previews. Just some incredible younger athletes, cycling through right now. So yeah, Moscow is going to be primed and ready to repeat next year.
No doubt. Here are all of the individual champions, Scott, all of your individual winners from the 5A state track meet. We will highlight, of course, the champions from the Magic Valley. And you mentioned it on that boys' side with Wood River. They get an individual state champion in the 400, Jackson Wallace. Congratulations there. That was one of 2 Magic Valley champions on the boys' side. Also, Alex Rushton from Burley wins the high jump. He had been the leader all season long in that event. And then on the girls' side, Scott, we had Anna Gilbert from Mountain Home win the 800-meter run. And we also had from Twin Falls, Isabel Paleo win the long jump.
Yeah, and I remember, talking about these kids in some of our preview shows, that they were leading the entire state, and it wasn't by much in some of them. And for them to hold on and bring it home, that's pretty cool. Good for them. And
shout out to, this isn't a Magic Valley kid, but definitely the best name I saw from all the track and field of it. Columbia pole vault, Ammon Hammer. That's a powerful name right there.
That's a beautiful thing.
That's a rock and roll name.
Yes, it is. I mean, there were some, I think we said this before, but back when we still do state basketball, we used to come up with the all tournament names. And that was pretty cool because there are some pretty cool names out there. Now, I'm not going to, say there's a lot of cool spellings out there because people just spell whatever the hell they want to do and with what numbers and symbols, and nobody follows any rules anymore. So I'm not going to go that way. But the cool sounding names, there are a lot of those.
Yep, for sure. So congratulations to our 5A track and field champions. Let's go 4A. Scott, this was one of the big stories of the weekend in terms of, we have a whoop whoop championship alert here. Kimberly's girls, 110 points to win the girls 4A track and field title. They ace out Coeur d'Alene Charter by 9 points, 110 to 101. And then on the boys' side, Filer and Kimberly take second and third, but man, Sugar Salem so dominant. They run away with it. But man, the big story here is the Kimberly girls with Carly Bear transferring back to Kimberly. She went to middle school and elementary school in Kimberly and then went to Burley for 2 years, transferred back for her sophomore season. That was the difference maker in the 4A race this year.
Oh, no question about it. We talked about how dominant Kimberly could be with the Bear kid moving back in Kimberly, then in Burley, and now back to Kimberly. That wherever she lands, I mean, she's got track pedigree. I mean, we talked about her older siblings and, they're SEC track athletes. And she is going to follow in those footsteps. She is something else. And when you have somebody like that, you're going to score a lot of points. And she does, and she did.
So let's see how she did. Here are your individual champions. Carly Bear sweeps the 1 and the 2, the 100 and 200 meter dashes. Isabella Burnett from Kimberly wins the 400. So Kimberly sweeps the short sprints. And then they win the 4x2 relay. They win the 800 medley relay as well. And then Reagan Stevenson wins the first ever 4A javelin title in Idaho history at Class 4A. So.
Yeah, and word on the street is nobody died
from the javelin. Yeah. Yeah. So you could see why Kimberly was able to pile up the points there. I mean, that is 6 first place finishes. That is 60 points right there, just from those individual champions. So
yeah,
good work there.
Absolutely. And Carly's just a sophomore, right? And we're going to be talking about that one for a while, but Kimberly has had a great year. I mean, let's not take anything away from them, especially on the girls' side. I mean, they have done exceptionally well. They have a really, really good tight-knit community over there, very good clientele that go to their school, and they're making the most of it. So congratulations.
And then, Carly Bear also, you don't see her listed here, but was a great long jumper this year. The girl from Sugar Salem that won the long jump, Sorrel Clark, she just out of her mind, Scott, beat her personal best by 9 inches at state to win the long jump. Just kind of came out of nowhere to win the title there in the long jump. Otherwise, that could have been more points potentially for Kimberly also. On the boys' side, our individual champions, Ethan Poff from Kimberly wins the mile, the 1600. Damon Taylor, that's a name we're used to from football. Great running back, linebacker, great javelin thrower too. He wins the first 4A boys javelin title in Idaho history. And Nolan Climbs from Kimberly wins the pole vault. So how about Kimberly sweeping the javelin, boys and girls?
Yeah, how about that? I mean, they obviously took it seriously and had some kids that were really, really interested because, when that started coming up, it was just gosh, we're going to get kids are going to be able to do this. Are they going to want to do this? And Kimberly had a couple of really, really good ones. I mean, Taylor, threw it over 148 feet to win state. And of course, we just got done talking about Macy and how she just destroyed everybody. Or excuse me, Reagan. Yeah. So, very cool.
Very cool indeed. So again, congratulations to the Kimberly girls, your 4A state track and field champions. 3A meet, Scott, our highest placing team from the Magic Valley. This one's always harder because it's just Declo and Wendell, and they're now part of that East Idaho Conference. So you do see the Declo girls checking in at number 9 over there with a total of 34 points. And then here were all of the individual champions. Definitely more individual success than team success here. Look at the boys' side. Gavin Rasmussen, that's a 3-sport athlete. We talked about him during football season for Declo. Great wide receiver, DB, great basketball player. Here he is sweeping the short sprints, the 1 and the 2 there for the Hornets.
Yeah, I mean, he was blazing too. 11.26 in that 100 to beat the kid from Aberdeen, and then again in the 200, another good showing, running 22.92, and that one was a little bit closer. Davin Heritage out of Melba was right on his tails. 2 100ths of a second behind. So photo finish in the 200.
Photo finish for sure. We did have one girls individual champion as well. Also from Declo, Mara Rogers wins the triple jump on the girls side. So congratulations to Mara there for Declo as well. And
individual state champ, and she won by almost an entire foot. She was over 35 feet. Second place was just over 34. So, I mean, that was a good dominating win for Miss Rogers from Declo.
Yeah, that's a blowout, no doubt. Finally, the 2A state meet. Scott, we talked about Valley probably was going to have the best shot in terms of like coming home with the trophy on the girls' side. That's how it played out. Valley takes third behind Prairie and Logos. They finished with 73.16 points. And you might be wondering, what's the 0.16 all about? Basically, what that means, Scott, is like either in the high jump or the pole vault, there was like a 6-way tie for like, one of the point getting positions. And then they just divided up amongst all the finishers there. So that's why Valley's got kind of a funky looking point total there. They are joined in the top 10 though. Look at the bottom, Glens Ferry 8, Cary 9, Lighthouse Christian 10. So 4 of the top 10 teams on the girls side all came from the same district. And then on the boys side, it was Valley's boys also finishing as the highest placing team. They took 5th overall with a total of 44 points, and they were the lone. Raft River 1 point behind them at 43 as well. So, but those were only 2 of 10 on the boys side with Valley and Raft River there.
Yeah, we knew Valley was going to kind of challenge for some hardware on the girls' side, and you're kind of thinking that they may have an outside shot on the boys' side to get into the top 4, but just couldn't quite get it done. But still, really good year, and they have some champions to talk about as well.
Yeah, some names you'll recognize from throughout the season for sure. On that girls' side for Valley, I mean, look at the bottom of your screen here, Scott. Look at the graphic. Lexi Hudig wins the pole vault, the long jump, and the triple jump. They're just incredible.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We talked about her off and on over the course of the show that this is a special athlete, and we knew that she was going to do some damage at state. And, winning 3 events, I mean, that's all of Valley's points, really. I mean, that's where they're coming from.
Yep. And then Valley sweeps the triple jump with Lexi Hudig winning on the girls' side. And that should say Andrew Lukes, not Andre Lukes. Obviously, I forgot the W when I made the graphic there. Andrew Lukes from Valley wins the boys' triple jump as well. So congratulations there.
Yeah. Luke's with a really nice jump over 44.06 is what he finished, and second place 41.08. So again, a dominating win for Andrew. Congratulations to him.
Yeah, I was too worried about making sure I spelled John Henry Krapuschetz from Logos correctly in the 16 and the 3200. Forgot the W on Andrew there. So
wow, I'm surprised I'd be practicing how to say that.
Right.
Gee whiz, Krapuschetz.
Yeah, and that's just me taking a stab at it too. So that is our track and field roundup, Scott. So we had a team champion in Kimberly. We had the Kimberly girls. We had several individual champions. I think what we learned in track and field is it's really hard to win a team title. You have to have either kind of a transcendent athlete that's going to go out and win like 3 or 4 events like the Moscow girls had in Matea Nunn, or you have to have just 4th, 5th, 6th place finishers in almost every event.
Yeah, you do. And wrestling's kind of the same way. You get a couple of state champions, and boy, they just tally up the points for you. Back in the day when I was running track, I think we won 3 state titles in track, and it's because we were just loaded from top to bottom. I mean, we had the distance runners, we had the hurl people, we had the field events. We didn't have javelin, but you looked up and down our roster, and it's like, oh my gosh, these guys are loaded. And I guess why under Coach Tim Dunn we did so well.
Yep, it was a great track and field season. Congratulations to all of our athletes, and some of them are moving on to the next level. So congratulations in your next endeavor as well. Lexi Hudig, I believe, is going to Idaho. It's either Idaho or Idaho State. I can't remember which, but that's just one of many. So, okay, Scott, which sport would you like to go to next? You've got tennis, golf, baseball, softball.
Let's go tennis.
Okay, tennis.
And my knowledge base in tennis is very minimal.
Well, the tennis will be pretty short and succinct. All the champions came from somewhere besides the Magic Valley. So, for example, here is the 5A state meet where you see on the girl. Let me double check real quick. Canyon Ridge competed in 5A tennis this year, Scott, or 6A?
6A.
6A. Okay. So here is the 6A results. You can see Canyon Ridge not in the top 10 anywhere there. Timberline boys win. Eagle girls win. Those Treasure Valley teams kind of have a built-in advantage with the nice weather and the ability to play at multiple facilities. And so it's really hard. And then just in terms of for 6A tennis, they get all the bids. Like District 3 gets all the bids. Mm-hmm. So if you're going to be a team from the north or from the east, or if you're Canyon Ridge, you got to bring almost your entire roster with you. And it's almost impossible with the amount of bids that are allotted. So that's what makes it really hard at the 6A level. 5A tennis, Scott, we see again, just like in track, Wood River, the highest placing team. They take 4th overall in that boys competition with 17 points. How about the race at the top, though? Our colleague, Sean Kane from the East Idaho Prepcast, coaches the Century tennis team, lost out to Bishop Kelly by a freaking 1.5 points.
Wow. Yeah, so close. Yeah, pulling for him. But again, Bishop Kelly at the top, shocker. They need their own classification. But great job by Sean and the Century. They are perennial favorites every single year to vie for a title. But gosh, coming so close. But yeah, good for them. And then Wood River. I mean, Wood River's got some players. I mean, I was working that tournament, the district tournament, and I was impressed with some of the kids from Wood River. I mean, that is one of the things that they do well. I mean, we talk about, Wood River a few times, and it's just a different town. They have different interests. Tennis is one of the things that they do well. Tennis and soccer and skiing and hockey and those things. The mainstream sports, not so much. But they really have a good, strong tennis program.
Yeah. So that was our lone placer amongst the top 10 boys or girls. I guess the Twin Falls girls did take 6th overall in the girls competition with a total of 12 points there as well. But Bishop Kelly sweeps the team titles. Here are the individual results. Not anything to highlight from the Magic Valley, Scott, but a statewide story that fans will probably want to keep an eye on. Girls singles, Pepper Rickert from Sandpoint. She wins the state title again in her sophomore season. She is now 48-0 to start her high school career. She went undefeated freshman year, undefeated this year. She is nationally ranked, I believe, in the top 10 on the UTSA junior circuit. We're talking about somebody that could go undefeated in their entire high school career. I don't think she's actually lost a set to a player from Idaho. She may have lost a set to somebody from Washington somewhere along the way, but pretty dominant. We're talking about like one of the all-time greats in tennis.
No question about it. And it needs to get a lot more recognition as this thing continues to grow, because, obviously tennis is not going to dominate the front page of any sports headline, but this story should. And what she is doing right now is, you can't even fathom how good she is, and how dominating she has been, and just a sophomore. So, man, keep an eye on this one. And we've talked about her before, and we're going to talk about her again come next year. And I hope that she gets the recognition that she deserves with accomplishing what she's doing right now.
Yeah. So you can see there, she sweeps Brindley Nelson from Hillcrest 6-1, 6-2. And Brindley Nelson, like 99 years out of 100, probably wins state. It's just so happens she's there at the same time as Pepper Rickert. And I know people are asking, like, well, could she like move somewhere else? Could she, move to a different part of the country where the tennis is maybe more competitive? I don't think you have to worry about that, Scott, because her grandfather is the head tennis coach at Sandpoint, Kent Anderson. So
yeah. Well, and with her skill set, she's not just playing high school tennis.
Right.
She's going year round, and she is seeing competition. So yeah, she'll be good, and she is playing some of the best in the country in the off season, no doubt.
Okay, let's wrap up with the 4A meet, Scott. On the boys' side, our highest placing finisher was Gooding. They took 6th overall. They in Sun Valley Community School, the Cutthroats, they each finished with 9, so they were 6 and 7 there. And then on the girls' side, the Cutthroats took 3rd overall, 28 points for Sun Valley Community School there. And then Gooding took 8th to round out the top 10 there for Magic Valley teams. And then when we look at the individual results, we did have one Magic Valley team get to the finals. It was in girls doubles where Kiki Pate and Addie Murray, it went 3 sets, Scott. That's all you can ask for here. They had a chance to win this thing. They lose to Rainey Goss and Nia Tubbs from Fruitland. They lose the first set 6-1. They come back and win the second set 6-2. And then in that third and decisive set, it goes extra as well there, 10-7. So just talk about that for a second. You get creamed 6-1 in your first set, and you could easily fold and just call it a day. But they battled back, and they almost won this thing in the third set.
Oh, absolutely. Almost completed a great comeback because, like you said, 6-1, it's like, oh, we're done. We're done. You roll over and die. And then just to kind of gut it out like they did and just came that close, from capturing a state tennis title. But congratulations to them. I mean, obviously the match of the tournament as far as the championship matches go. So, yep. Good job.
Congratulations to our Cutthroats there at the 4A state tennis tournament. And as a reminder, Sun Valley Community School is really and truly a 2A school, but in tennis, they have to compete against all these 4A schools. So pretty good job holding their own there. All right, Scott, 2 sports down, 3 to go. Where would you like to go next?
Let's do golf.
Okay. You didn't say that with much confidence.
Yeah, because it's the 4-3.
Yes.
Yeah, 4-3-2.
Now, if I had time to plan out the show and say, like, okay, what was the most important, what was the biggest story from the spring sports championships? Instead of just letting you pick on the board, we would have started with golf, because when you look at the 4A state meet, Scott, Kimberly not only won the boys title, they won the girls title. That is a clean sweep for Coach Brittany Toon and the Kimberly golf program.
Oh yeah, boy, what a job there. And like I said, there's something to be said about, and I have to be careful the way I word this, is when you have a community that can afford to have that many golfers, because golfing, I mean, it's expensive sport. You've got most of them belong to a course. Their parents belong to a course or whatever, and that is not cheap. But Kimberly, they've got the clientele for that, and they've got some really good athletes to boot, and a really good coach in Coach Toon. I mean, I've known her for a long time, the same with her mother, and but you'll start to see some similarities in a lot of these state championship teams. Twin Falls, same way. Very good, some affluent clientele. They can get it done. Kimberly is the same way, and I'm not bashing on any of it. I'm just stating the obvious. And then, of course, Bishop Kelly, same thing. So anyway, doesn't take away from what Kimberly did. To get a boys and a girls title is something special, and that doesn't happen very often. So congratulations to them.
Yeah, pretty impressive. They win by 15 strokes over Snake River on the boys' side. Obviously, I got the total wrong for Filer's girls, who took second. On the other side, they shot a 75, not 785 strokes over. That would be quite an accomplishment there. Yeah, but either way, Kimberly wins, kind of going away. Here are the individual results, Scott. We have double Magic Valley individual champions as well. Wyatt Williams from Kimberly. I mean, we had a Prepcast episode all about him earlier this year, so no surprise. He breaks even. And then, again, this was at the course in Buell. And like you said, that can be a difficult course to navigate. So the fact that he shot even, a 2-day total of 144, I think that's pretty good.
Yeah, no, that's really good. I mean, you've got to be accurate off the tee. I mean, that's the one big thing about Buell's course, Clear Lakes, is there's not a lot of room to spray your tee shot. And then and like we talked about before, everything breaks to the river. And I'm curious as to how many kids were so frustrated reading a putt that it looks like it goes left, but the river's on the right. So go with the river. And I bet there were some frustrated golfers out there just for that alone. But, we talked about Wyatt and how good he has been. I mean, obviously you can see there, the only kid to shoot even par or better in the entire tournament.
Yep. He is joined in the top 10 by two other Kimberly golfers. Corbin Cowitz took third overall. And then you had Carson Lott finish seventh. Also from the Magic Valley, finishing in the top 10 was Dallin Nielsen from Filer. Just got in there at 10th overall. So congratulations there. And then on the girls' side, Scott, we talk about Kimberly and their team championship, and they go, oh, that's nice, boys. You got 3 out of the top, 3 of the 5 into the top 10. Well, we got 4 of our 5 into the top 10. Shelby Hyder takes second. Elise Simmons takes third. They actually both shot the exact same total. You've got then Maya Greenhall and Millie Harper rounding out the top 10 at 9 and 10 overall as well.
Wow. And that's impressive because, like we talked about before in previous shows, is you're going to have a golfer or two maybe that are just going to be standouts every now and then. But are you going to be having 4 or 5? You're going to have the depth, to do this and to put 4 golfers into the top 10 in the state tournament. That is impressive. That's a really strong team. As you can tell, they won it handily, and Tanley, boy, she won that one by 6 shots, or 14 shots. So, I mean, that's a dominating win for her, and just 8 over par too. I mean, she was flirting with even par.
Yep. Congratulations to Tanley Lemoyne from Filer, your individual 4A golf champion, joined by her Filer teammate, Brinley Nebeker, who finished 8th overall. And then we had Story Pape from Buell take 4th overall, Scott. So 7 of the top 10 girls were from the Magic Valley. It's pretty good.
Oh, that's really good. That says a lot about the golf that's down here. And there's some really good courses down here in the Magic Valley. Clear Lakes at Buell being one of them. Obviously, Blue Lakes, the Fancy Club, and you got Jerome. You've got Canyon Springs. There are so many great courses down here, and a lot of really good young golfers.
Yep, no doubt about it. And then the 3A meet, Scott. This was held at trying to remember. It was also in the Magic Valley at River's Edge in Burley. And, Declo was actually the host, and the Declo boys win the 3A golf title, Scott, by 6 strokes over Melba. So congratulations to the Hornets. They shoot a 2-day total of 678 as a team. They are joined in the top 10 by the community school, Sun Valley Community School. They took 8th overall. You also had Wendell in there finishing 12th. And then on the girls' side, the Declo girls were the highest placing team. They took 5th overall there. So Declo boys, state golf title. Way to go, Hornets.
Yeah, and how about that? Good for them. You don't think of Declo as a hub for golf, but they had some really good kids this year. Congratulations to them. Very nice. Yeah.
Previous titles for Declo came on the girls' side in 2012 and 2014. And then Scott, just last year, they won the first title in boys history, 2 years ago, 2023, they won the first title in boys history. So Declo has won 2 of the past 3 boys golf titles there. And then here are the individual finishers, no individual champions from the Magic Valley here. The highest placer was Axel Silcock from Declo. He finished 3rd overall. There's another rock and roll name, Axel Silcock. He actually tied with Dylan McNeely from Rimrock. They each finished 4 over par for 2nd and 3rd there, and only 5 strokes back of the individual champion. So Axel was right in there till the end.
Yeah. Oh, that was a close top 5. Top 6, really. 13 shots separating all of them, and then Bodley from Melba goes under par for the tournament. So that's impressive. And that's great. And we're going to hopefully see Declo back at it again. Because like you said, two out of the last 3, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So maybe they got something cooking over in Declo when it comes to golf. But congratulations to Axel for a really nice showing at state.
And also in the top 10 from the Magic Valley, Rye Mann from the community school, Sun Valley Community School. He took 8th overall. On the girls' side, the highest placer, Scott, the only Magic Valley placer in the top 10 was from Hagerman, of all places. Cricket Wise takes 8th overall.
Yeah, I mean, great job for her. Ava coming in there at 10th. But yeah, Cricket Wise, that could be a tournament name right there, an all golf tournament name. I like it.
Cricket with a K too. I like it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And yes, you're right. Ava Cameron from Declo did finish 10th overall there as well. So golf, I would say, was pretty successful, Scott. 3 of the 4 spring championship trophies stay in the Magic Valley. It's pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. I mean, like I said, there are some really good young golfers down this way. And I think it's becoming a little bit more popular now that there's a lot more youth programs out there. There's a lot more scholarship opportunities, and so it's becoming popular, and it's good to see.
I mean, our president loves to golf. That's probably what's spurring the revitalization out on the golf course, right?
Heck yeah. Yeah. I went and played a little bit yesterday, played 18 and I tell you what, man, I feel it. I want to get out there again, but I don't think my back is going to say anything for the next couple of days. And I've got a tournament next weekend that I have to play in. So I got to get myself back in golf shape, if that's a thing.
Yeah, I better take it easy, Tiger. All right. Okay. Baseball, softball. Where do you want to go?
Let's go softball.
Well, you really deliberated over that. That was
it takes me forever to figure out what I'm going to have for dinner. So making these kinds of decisions, they're not easy.
Yeah. Softball. We did not have any 6A teams in the Magic Valley this year. Correct. Canyon Ridge played down at the 5A level. Correct. So we will go to the 5A state tournament where coming into this thing, we had really the 2 plucky underdogs. We kind of talked about it on our state softball preview show, Burley and Jerome, where a lot of people were like, oh, it's probably going to be Twin Falls and Wood River. No, it was Burley as the 7 seed. Jerome is the 8 seed. How about Burley tipping this thing on its head right away out of the gates? They beat number 2 seed Blackfoot 4-2. You had a 6 and a 7 playing in that winners matchup, Scott. Lewiston and Burley. Yeah. Lewiston, the 6 seed, would get all the way to the championship. And they won the undefeated game, and then Bishop Kelly had to come back through and beat Lewiston twice to win the title, and of course they did because it's Bishop Kelly. But
yeah,
Burley starts with that 4-2 win over Blackfoot. Then they lose a back and forth slugfest with Lewiston 8-6. Then they drop into the consolation side where, Bishop Kelly's waiting. Great, because Bishop Kelly lost right away. So BK shuts him out 11-0. That's where Burley's journey comes to an end.
Yeah, it was a great season for both Burley and Jerome getting there. Even though Jerome went 2 in barbecue, they did some really good things in the district tournament to get him there. And, Burley was no different. And congratulations to both of them. But Bishop Kelly, our preview show, to me, I thought was the best team there. And that's who I picked to win it, by the way, was Bishop Kelly. I didn't think they'd have to go the long way around. But yeah, they did. And another state title for Bishop Kelly. What are they doing with all their trophies? Wow.
Yeah. What a tough problem to have. The seedings, Scott, the number 1 and number 2 seeds were both done by Friday afternoon, and your top 4 in order were 6, 4, 3, and what was the other one? 6, 4, 5, and 3. So
yeah,
there you go.
Yeah. Defending champ Pocatello. Boy, they didn't last very long. And a lot of people thought they were gonna end up repeating, and the number 2 seed goes 2 in barbecue. So
I mean, Blackfoot in their wildest dreams probably never thought they would have to play Middleton in a loser out game right away on Friday. But
yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people saw that game happening just on the bracket, But wow, yeah, good job for the underdogs.
Yeah. Scott, can I get your opinion on something real quick as we're talking about softball here? I mentioned this on the North Idaho Prepcast. I want to see what you think. We expanded the tournament finally to Thursday, Friday, Saturday, right? For years and years and years, state softball was just Friday, Saturday, right?
Right.
but all they really did was play the first round of games on Thursday. To me, it's kind of like, what's the point? Like, I would prefer on Thursday, everybody plays their opener, and then these two games on the left side, these two loser out games, I would prefer to see those on Thursday as well. Because if you're a team that loses right away, you've still got momentum, you're still kind of warmed up, you turn around and play right away. Instead of having to, for example, Bishop Kelly, they lost at 5:15. The game probably got over around 7:30. And then they've got to turn around and play at 9 a.m. the next morning in a loser out game. Couldn't we condense this? And that way you're still not having to play, because Friday still was jam packed in terms of like number of games. What do you think?
Softball is just a different animal. I mean, you don't have to rest your pitcher. You don't have to do any of that stuff. So why drag it out? And then, of course, I'm going to look at it from a cost-effective standpoint. If I'm going to pay for 3 nights of hotels or 2 nights of hotels, why do I want to do that if I can condense the tournament and save money? I just think it makes sense to go back to where it was. I don't like it drug out either.
Yeah, I mean, at least add some games if you're going to do 3 days, and then you can breathe a little more on Friday. But
I agree. Did North Idaho agree with you?
North Idaho always agrees with me, Scott. No. I don't know.
No, but you got it's a good point. I mean, I like it condensed.
Yeah. I mean, the point I brought up was I had to broadcast state softball this year, and as somebody who drives 8 hours, to get to Boise, and then my first game isn't until 3:00 in the afternoon on Thursday. Like, I still had to come down Wednesday, and then I just was like, all day, what am I doing? So, anyways, congratulations to our 5A softball teams, 4A state tournament, Scott. Kimberly, man, we talked about this the last couple of springs. Kimberly just really seems to thrive when it comes to spring sports. When they win both golf titles, they almost win the softball title here. You see, they fall to Coal Valley Christian in the championship 11-5. And so Kimberly ends up taking second place overall. Still pretty good showing. Gooding was also at this tournament right away. They have the first extra innings game at state against Teton. They lose 8-7 in 8 innings. They keep battling. They keep fighting. They ultimately fall to Weiser 4-2. So even though they finish outside the top 4, I mean, 2 losses by 3 runs. I thought it was a pretty good tournament for the Senators also.
Oh yeah. No question about it. They got to win at state, and that's all sometimes that's all you can ask for, just to get a win, not go 2 and done. But yeah, the big story was number 1 seed Kimberly, who, we thought, and I think a lot of people thought, was going to be the heavy favorites here. Just got upset in that game against Coal Valley, just came out cold and just didn't get it done. And then had to battle back, beat Weiser, and then couldn't get it to the if necessary game as they got trounced 11-5. But still a great year for Kimberly. Can't take anything away from them, but they're getting to a point too where it's like, if we don't win it all, then what a terrible year for us. That's how successful they have been in a lot of different sports, especially in the spring.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, 3A state tournament at the Gals Quad Complex in Caldwell. Scott, this is the tournament I was at, broadcasting for IdahoSports.com. Declo was there representing, and the Hornets dropped to Nampa Christian right away, 13-9. They do beat Melba in a loser-out game, 15-5, and then they dropped to Malad, 10-4. So Declo just finishes outside the top 4. The interesting story there was Declo's head coach, Chancey Christensen, gave birth to a baby the same weekend as state softball. So she had to stay back home, and one of the assistants took the reins of the Declo program. So congratulations to Chancey, and also, congratulations to Declo on a pretty good tournament.
Yeah, no, a really, really good tournament for them. I think when you look at this bracket, though, I think the Malad not winning it is the shocker. I mean, that was a team that was so dominant all season long. And then they get upset in the second round by North Fremont, number 4 seed. And they have to fight their way all the way back and can't get it to the if necessary game against number 3 Nampa Christian. Malad, I thought was going to run away with it, to be honest with you. But they didn't. But, like you said, Declo, hey, great season for them. Excellent showing, and congratulations to the Hornets. Yeah. They had a good spring. They had a good spring. We just got done talking about them in track and golf too. So, Hornet spring, if you will.
Yes, for sure. And again, congratulations to Coach Christensen, new baby,
absolutely
born on the same weekend. So, Scott, Nampa Christian, the state champs. I was broadcasting. They were playing North Fremont in that undefeated semifinal, game 12 on Friday, and you see they won 10-0. It came in the bottom of the fifth via the 10-run rule. When the inning started, Nampa Christian was up 7-0, and they hit back-to-back solo home runs to end the game via the 10-run rule.
Wow. Yeah, look at those scores. Their offense came alive in this tournament. 13 runs, 16 runs, 10 runs. And defensively, they had a shutout, 3 runs, 4 runs. Talk about getting hot at the right time. Nampa Christian, wow, good for them.
Yep.
It was an impressive tournament.
For sure. In the chat, Scott, Frank Case, head coach of the Glens Ferry Pilots. Hey, Brandon, nice to meet you at State. Thanks for what you guys do. Yep, I got to meet Coach Case in person at the 2A state softball tournament, and that is our final tournament we're going to look at here. This was also in Caldwell at the Gals Quad Complex, where the Pilots had to play right away. They beat Notice 14-0. They beat Genesee 5-2. They lose to Potlatch by a run in that undefeated semifinal 6-5. And then they just didn't have enough in the tank. Genesee gets them on Friday right away, 10-7. So Glens Ferry finishes third, but man, handful of plays away from playing for the championship.
That's just how tight those top, 3 teams were this year. And we talked about it before, and that's why Coach Case, made that trip north, is just for that reason alone, to play the Potlatch, the Genesee, which they have beaten. But to see that and to know that it really could have been any one of those teams. It easily could have been Glens Ferry, hoisting that title. That's how tight and closely matched these teams were. They just couldn't quite get over the hump against Genesee. Beat them the first time, couldn't get them the second time.
Yep, still a really fun season. And I learned along the way, Scott, that Glens Ferry's standout offensive performer, I've been mispronouncing her name all season long. It's spelled like Sahira Arevalo, but it's actually pronounced Saida. And Coach Case told me like a side of fries. Saida Arevalo.
Nice. Okay, Saida.
Yep.
Saida. A side of fries. I like that. How about a side of home runs? A side of RBIs. Okay, you can have fun with that one. Yes. We won't mess that one up again.
Right. So it was a fun season covering Glens Ferry all season long, to be sure.
Yep.
Okay. All right, Scott, let's wrap up with baseball. These are modified brackets, 4-team state tournaments after all the super regional carnage that took place the week prior. 6A, Canyon Ridge was a 6A team this year. Didn't make it to state. Middleton wins the 6A state title over Owyhee. Congratulations, Treasure Valley, Yahoo. Okay, 5A. This was the most interesting tournament, Scott.
Yeah.
This 5A state tournament, because you had Twin Falls there competing, and Twin is the team that won the undefeated semifinal over Bonneville. Wild back and forth game, 11-9. And so on Saturday, Bonneville had to come back through and beat the Bruins not once, but twice. And so Bonneville in the first game has a big lead. Twin Falls rallies in the bottom of the 7th. They bring the tying run to the plate. Can't quite get them in. The Bruins lose 12-10. So immediately you got to play again. And this time it's the opposite. We go to the 7th inning, and Twin Falls is the team that has the lead this time. And they just couldn't keep the traffic off the bases. There was a hit batter, a couple more guys reached, and then the game ends essentially, Scott, on a bases loaded hit by pitch. And Bonneville walks it off 7-6.
Yep. I was laying on the couch watching these games, called the first 3 of them, and then had to watch from the couch. And it was like, oh man, what a horrible way to end it. But it was something that we had talked about that first day is, how deep can your pitching go? And you're going to have to really strategize your inning usage and who do you have to throw and in what situations do you have them to throw. And it just, for Twin, they just ran out and it ended up costing them. I mean, like you said, walks and hit batsmen. And then, to lose that game on a hit batsman. I mean, that's just kind of one of those sucker punches that's like, oh man, that's how we're going to do it. They didn't win it. We just kind of handed it to them. And I know that's kind of how they feel. Bonneville will take it though, but congratulations to them. They had to play Twin 3 times in this tournament out of this 4-team modified deal, which was kind of fun. I mean, I was interested to see how this was going to look, how it was going to go. From a broadcasting standpoint, it was a heck of a lot easier. We weren't dealing with 11 games in 3 days. But I don't know. I don't know. I liked it. I liked the way the tournament ran. I don't know if you heard anything about the format, but I didn't mind it.
Yeah, I think the format was a big success, and you have a chance if you lose right away, but you're going to have to earn it. And Bonneville definitely earned it. They had to win 3 games on Saturday, which again can put the pitching in a bind, but you find a way, and that's baseball. So congratulations there. 3A tournament. We didn't have anybody from the Magic Valley competing after Buell lost out to Fruitland. But Sugar Salem, not surprisingly, wins the title there, even though they were the 4 seed, like the eye test told you Sugar Salem was probably the best team. They actually won this game over Fruitland 9-5. The game was called in either the 5th or 6th inning due to rain, basically. And they were like, nope, we're just going to call it. Diggers win the title. So,
yeah. Yeah. Kind of another tough way to end it, especially if you're Fruitland going, oh man, we still could have maybe 1 inning. We're only 4 back. But yeah, rain kind of played a little role over the weekend in baseball and softball. And prior to that, the 2 weeks prior to that, gorgeous. But wouldn't you know it, state tournament, here come the rain clouds.
Yep. And then just to wrap up, we don't have any more Magic Valley teams here, Scott, but Malad won the 3A state championship over Nampa Christian, 8-6. And in this all North Idaho 2A tournament, where it was the 4 teams from the North, Kendrick squeaks it out 2-1 over Potlatch. Scott, the Kendrick Tigers win the state football, state boys basketball, state baseball championships all in the same year. That is a very rare feat to accomplish.
Yeah, tell me about it. That tells you the class of kids that are coming through. Anytime you do that, a lot of those small schools, you'll see that quite a bit too. They'll win a football title, but it's those same kids that are playing basketball. And if they're athletes, that's going to transcend into something. And yeah, huge year for the Kendrick Tigers. Yep. Congratulations to them.
And overall, a really fun 2024-25 school year in general. And Scott, season 4 of the Magic Valley Prepcast, that's a wrap.
Oh, dang. Season 4. We've done it 4 years already, huh?
Yeah, we've covered an entire class of athletes from their freshman year all the way through to the seniors.
That's right. Good way to look at it. Yeah, we have. And last year we celebrated the 100th episode, and pretty soon we're going to be celebrating the 200th episode. And it's going to get better and better. And we love doing this. This is fun. Absolutely enjoy the heck out of this, and I've met some really, really cool people along the way that come up to you at the tournaments that you're broadcasting and tell you, hey, we love what you guys do, just like Coach Case does here. And he did for you. He came and introduced himself to you. That happens to us all the time, and we just love it because we know that we're doing something that means something to a lot of people. I mean, I wish something like this existed when I was playing, but I don't even think they had cameras back then.
Yeah, it was. They were writing the recaps for the newspaper, not by hand, but they were chiseling it into the stone tablet.
Yes, they were. Absolutely. Yeah. So the games that I played and the championships I won when I was in high school, it's all lore. I mean, there's no really written proof. It's just their stories.
It's painted on a cave wall somewhere.
Yes, it is. So, appreciate you. And we'll be back for season 5, bigger and better than ever. And tons of fun.
That's right. We are going to take the summer off, but there will still be lots of good written content on our website, IdahoSports.com. We're preparing for our second annual Team of the Year competition, Scott. We did this for the first time last year, where we took 16 state champions, kind of randomly put them in a bracket, and had the fans vote each week on who they thought was the best team. The Sugar Salem girls soccer team won our first Team of the Year competition. There are some Magic Valley teams in this year's bracket, so you'll just have to stay tuned and vote your favorite Magic Valley squads on through. Of course, we will have all sorts of previews coming up for football season in the summer. We will start putting in the schedules already for next school year, volleyball, football, soccer, all that fun stuff. So IdahoSports.com is still going to have plenty of stuff going on this summer. And then, Scott, you and I will hop back on in August and get ready for season 5.
It'll be here before you know it. Summer goes so quickly. We'll be ready. And plus, that's when the NFL season starts. So I'm pretty excited.
Yep, no doubt about it. Well, until then, Scott, enjoy your summer. Thank you for all the hard work you did for us.
Likewise, my friend. Appreciate all you do.
All right. One final time here. Season 4. For Scott Burton, I'm Brandon Baney. Thanks for tuning into the Magic Valley Prepcast on IdahoSports.com.